Yes, welcome back to the Bray and Ethan podcast, episode 129. And, well, I guess at this point in time, Ethan, you're in Bali.
I am. I'll be overseas as this is coming to the listeners' ears.
Yep,
should be good.
You obviously be enjoying yourself over there, keeping sensible.
Responsibly, yes. Yeah. Keep that in mind.
I'll hope for that. But, of course, it is all powered by Pegs. Download the Pegs app if you're a uni or TAFE student. It's the, new discount platform, which is an absolute game changer. All your favourite cafes, retail outlets, bars, pubs, retail outlets, all offering up to 50% off. So locals supporting locals. And, of course, Hat Locker and Cheetah Clothing as well. You can use code Bray and Ethan 20 for 20% off at hatlocker.com.au. And, of course, Cheetah Clothing as well. We're looking forward to that new winter drop coming very, very soon.
Yeah, and how fitting the Hat Locker hat, I guess, said how good. And, well, of course he's going to say that because it's been a while since we had an AFL player in the studio, episode 96 with Tom Emmett last year. And this has sort of come together last minute. I mean, we did reach out to him prior to the mid-season draft. We're not just jumping on the bandwagon, but very happy to welcome Richmond's Jacob Blight while he's in Perth. Blighty, welcome.
No, thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate the opportunity.
It's been a while in the making, hasn't it? Back and forth a bit.
Absolutely. And like I said, I obviously wanted the opportunity, but at the time before the draft, there was a lot going on, not just with football, but university and work and all those sort of dynamics you got to figure out. So, I'm happy that I've got some spare time now and can have a chat with you guys.
Yeah, pleasure. Well, in terms of, I guess, football names, it's one of the biggest names ever to play the game, I guess, the Blight name. So has the nickname Malcolm transferred over at the Tigers yet?
It has, in fact, yes. It was, my usual nickname, Blighty, pretty simple one, has died down pretty quickly over there. So
straight to Malcolm.
Malcolm's the one, but luckily for me, I play at the other end of the ground, so there's no real high expectations for me to drop a 70-metre torp or kick 10, bags of 10 each week. So, it's a cool little thing to have, but at the same time, going to try and carve my own path out.
Exactly.
No relation? Have you dug up and tried to find
Ancestry.com, shout out.
0% chance?
Not closely related. I don't know exactly. It's probably something I will need to do some research in, but definitely not closely related, but who knows, maybe somewhere down the family tree for sure.
How have you settled into Melbourne life? Because it kind of happened in the blink of an eye. Who are you living with over there, etc.?
Yeah, well, pretty much the draft happened Wednesday night, our time, and as you can imagine, I got a few phone calls and basically I got two options on Thursday to pick a flight to go over. So it all happened extremely quickly and, obviously to say the least, I was quite rattled the first few days, just obviously trying to find my way and probably felt like a bit of an imposter. Just, it's gone from being a pretty big fish in my own little pond to, knowing no one on the other side of the country. So I definitely had to, find my way and, build some relationships, not just with the players, but the staff and the VFL coaches and boys and the staff as well. So, it's been wonderful, transfer over, and obviously it's a dream come true and something I've worked for a lot longer than most. So, at the moment, I'm living with Samson Ryan, one of the ruckmen. He's played a fair few games now, so
been a bit of a regular for the last couple of years.
100%. So we get along very well, and he's been extremely welcoming. And like I said, we're already pretty close mates as it is. So it's been a good little transfer for sure.
I remember his mum on Roaming Brian last year.
Yeah,
that was content.
This was funny because I don't know, because when I arrived, I was like, he looks so familiar, and I'd eventually twigged when I met his girlfriend and everybody else, and I got to see the video again, and I was like, oh, yes, I do remember seeing this when it happened. So it is a pretty funny little thing, but him and his partner, I haven't met his parents yet, but him and his partner are lovely, so they've been great.
Bloody oath. Well, I guess I think it's quite right, but the first couple I think we've had on the show with, of course, Georgie Cleaver last year, how competitive is footy between you guys, and I guess do you guys meet through footy or outside?
Yeah, it was a funny one. We actually met at footy, yes, correct. We met, I think it was Waffle Finals last year. So she was working for the waffle. I can't remember exactly what it was, but she was helping
state
out.
girls, I think, were doing stuff.
Yeah, she was helping out there, and as you do, you just naturally say hi, how you going, and I was just being quite friendly, and yeah, next minute we were hanging out a bit more often, and it just it's transpired to what it is, and she's an absolute gem, and certainly keeps me humble. She certainly outdoes me, and she's doing very well in her own right, and I'm just fortunate enough to achieve my dreams as well and do what I'm doing as well. So, she's doing extremely well at the moment.
We've got a question from her later on in the Q&As, but I guess the competitiveness between you two?
Training with each other and stuff.
I wouldn't say there's a competitiveness. We certainly complement each other well. I think there's no real comparisons or anything like that. I mean, for sure, we certainly don't let each other get ahead of ourselves and all the rest of it. It's still very much a grind mentality and working hard, and we're just, I guess, a supportive network for each other, and keeping it smooth sailing as possible. So, like I said, she's very, very busy in her own right as a full-time athlete, and I'm obviously slowly adjusting to the new lifestyle as well.
Might have to get her over to the Richmond Tigers AFLW side after not applying nationally. But coming from Albany, Richmond aren't the first Tigers you've been a part of with Pinjarra and the Claremont Tigers. State 16s as well in 2018. How weird is it looking back at that now with guys who from that team made AFL instantly but are sort of out of the system now, and then you took longer but are currently in it now?
Yeah, it's obviously when the day happens, there's so much that goes into it, and it's not just the few weeks leading up to it, it's the years prior where I guess my story's briefly documented in terms of all the major setbacks I endured, not just in Perth but Albany as well, and I guess living down there I had pretty good support network. Like I had a great club I was at and a good family and whatnot, but to be completely honest, I was not really near the mark, and there was a long period of time there where the possibility of coming to Perth and even playing football was seemed quite limited. So there was a lot of years early on, a lot of disappointment, but I guess I attribute my success today to just a never giving up attitude. Like I don't see myself as a special player or a special person, just more someone who I guess had that never give up attitude, and I guess an uncompromisable work ethic, and just refused to accept no, and that was that. And I'm 22 now, so not that old, but it has been a few years, I guess, from that 18s year to, I guess, prove myself and find my feet a bit, and obviously prove my worth over time. But yeah, obviously looking back now, it is a bit of a funny one where I was in the Pinjarra Tigers as a junior, then Railways in Albany as well, and obviously had a pretty good stint at Claremont too. So it's funny how the universe works and brings it all together. But hopefully it's a even longer stint now at Richmond.
A bit of a random question. I don't know if you know anything, but I just thought there's a lot of Railways football clubs in the state. Is there any connection between them all, or is it just because they've got a railway street or something?
It's a good question. I do know there's one in Kalgoorlie and
Northam, I think,
and around Northam Way. Yeah. So no, I'm not sure exactly. It is it is. It's not a bad question though, because there is about 3 or 4 that I can think of. So in terms of Albany, I don't really think there's many railway roads there. So I don't know. It's just perhaps a fitting name for
might just be
a club.
A very common club name for a country town.
Yeah,
they've got to find 4, 5, 6 clubs in the area, and Railways is an easy name because most towns have a railway. So
yeah, 100%.
Probably it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you played in the 2020 Colts Grand Final and then debuted in the league in 2021. What was, I guess, the thought process to move down the highway to Peel? Yeah,
there was a combination of things, right? And the year prior to that 2020 Grand Final, I was actually dropped for the one they won in Colts. So I played the prelim, and I remember the week so clearly. I went into the coach's room and basically got told I won't be selected to play in that one. And, that was the year 12 year. So I graduated that year too. And yeah, it was a major kick in the guts to say. And, had to really pull my socks up and come back the next year and do that. And I remember that 2020 year was probably one of the most enjoyable years of football I've actually had. And I think we were basically undefeated up until that point. I think maybe lost one game, but we were a very strong team and I guess lost our way on the day. And then, I thought 2021 was a reasonably strong year as well. It's not easy for anyone to jump from Colts to league football in an instant. It is a very good competition over here, and there's a lot of established mature age players who have been playing for quite a while and play a lot of games. And, there's a lot of players who've had admirable careers in the Waffles, so it's pretty hard for any 18, 19-year-old to jump up and take a spot. So, but I guess in terms of the move over, it's probably a broader answer, but I guess for myself, in the best way possible, I'll keep it quite concise. But there was a point in time where I was really struggling. I wasn't really enjoying my time there and wasn't enjoying my football altogether. There was a period where I actually wanted to walk away from football. I didn't want to play at all. And the only thing that really kept me going was the few of the friends I had there, and obviously my family who, I guess, persisted for me to finish out the year. So not many people know that, and it was a pretty dark little period, and I'll never use mental health as an excuse for anything, but I was quite defeated by it all. And there's a lot of hard work, a lot of years of trying to get somewhere, trying to achieve something, and to be constantly knocked back over and over and over again. It was, I think it just hit me at once there, and it was quite a tough period. So the actual story was, I was looking to go to Melbourne. I guess my philosophy at the time was, if I'm trying to be an AFL player, then the best thing I can do is I put myself in an affiliate program. And although I'm probably not up to the standard, but at least if I'm training and playing alongside those sort of guys, at least gives me a bit more insight and a bit more knowledge into what they actually do on a weekly basis, and obviously game day as well. So I guess it was just more about stacking further odds in my favour to get me to where I want to go. So I was looking to go to Melbourne, but before I pretty much was going to fly over and meet with some clubs, I was contacted by Peel Thunder, and within a few days a decision was made, because my family actually moved back down towards that way as well, because we lived there when I was very little, so I guess I grew up around that area to some degree. And I guess the decision was made for me, and it made the most sense on and off field. And I guess from there it only flourished. And but it wasn't easy at all, and it probably was a lot bigger risk than what some people may realise, because obviously there is only 10, 11, 12 spots a week available there, and you're not going to be first picked in accordance to the Freo players. So it was an incredibly high risk situation where I could have quite easily gone there and been a reserves player once again. But I saw a slight opportunity there and had the opportunity to train over the pre-season and meet those calibre of players and coaches. And I guess what really turned it for me was I took about 3 months off work in that summer period of time, where I pretty much put money to the side, and I said, look, it doesn't matter what happens, I'm just putting everything I can into this period of time. And it literally was training 2-3 times a day, 6-7 days a week, and it was obsessive. But at the end of the day, looking back, if I never went through that period of time, I probably definitely wouldn't have progressed my career the way I did. And I definitely came with an open book and a different attitude. And I guess leaving Claremont, I was very aware that I was the problem to some degree, and I had to change my way, not just my football and the way I played, but also probably my attitude a little bit as well, and being a bit more coachable, and I guess trying to retain more information, listen to what was being said to me as well. So it was a pretty important period to find the identity of myself again, but also reset myself in the right way, and I guess put myself in a more flourishing environment to achieve what I want to achieve. And obviously from 2023 it was a pretty strong year and a breakout year, and this year was just no exception. It was just a build on from that. So it is quite the story, but like I said, I don't think of myself as anyone special. It's just it's just a willingness to work hard and never give up.
Yeah, the resilience, and as you said, it's like a life decision as well. It's not just footy, moving
100%.
as well. 2023, you played in the Waffle Grand Final. Also trained with Fremantle outside of that. How valuable or much of an advantage do you think that was for you pre-AFL system?
Yeah, no, absolutely, because it is essentially a full-time job, right? So once you see the full-time schedule in place, it is a lot harder than what people probably like to think it is. And, during the season, it's a bit more enjoyable because you do have a bit more time off, and, it is about being diligent to your preparation but also your recovery. But pre-season is full steam ahead, and it is long, hard days, and it is very challenging. So I guess I was very fortunate to be given the opportunity. I wasn't a train on or on SSP or anything like that. I was just, I guess, a participant running around, filling some numbers, and luckily enough, I got to have probably a few more sessions than most, and I just basically took the opportunity with both hands, and like I said, came with an open book, and dropped the ego and allowed myself to learn, and from those sort of players, and obviously submerge yourself in some higher quality training. It's going to fast track anyone really, but I guess it was just a bit of a play of putting myself in a best possible situation to get to where I want to go. And I was no better than anyone else in the Waffle at the time. It was just where I positioned myself and what I gave myself the opportunity to do, essentially, and that's all it was. And so I guess it worked well for me, but there was a lot that went into that for me to have the results I'm having, that's for sure.
I think there were some familiar names as well. I think Michael Selwood also trained there, and Jordan Clark, might have come through with him, obviously being a Clemmer boy.
Yeah, no, well. we were very good family friends down in Albany, and I know himself and his brothers and his sister as well quite well. So we actually played together briefly at Railways. He was a little bit older, so I didn't always get to see him. I was quite close with his other brothers, Jai and Tate and everybody else. But we all get along very well, and it was pretty comforting to have at least someone there that I know relatively well.
Yep.
Well, you opened up just before about how, I guess, tough it was to play through those, couple of years around that Colts sort of period. But I guess, fast forward to last year and then again this year, you were just taking intercept marks for fun, getting high disposals, and then the state game comes. How enjoyable was that experience, despite obviously the loss?
No, 100%. And I guess I probably class last year as a breakout year, and I guess one of the proudest achievements was not only playing the grand final but making the Waffle team of the year. I think that really propelled me and really gave me the confidence to come out this year and do what I wanted to do. And the state game was probably my biggest goal for this year coming in. Obviously, the draft's always going to be there at the back of your mind, but it's an uncontrollable situation. So I really went in with the intention to try and make that team and make that squad, and a lot of my training and preparation was leading into that. So one of my good mates, Jack Avery at the time, and a few other of my mates too, we did a lot of extensive training over the summer, and with that being the goal in mind. And unfortunately he hurt himself in the pre-season and hasn't played a game since because of a foot injury. So I guess there was a lot that went into that day, and it was something I really wanted to share with my friends and my family because it was a pretty big achievement, and I wanted to make sure I shared that time with my friends. And obviously to put the performance on that I did, I was extremely proud. It was, going back to that week, it was a bit of a horrible one. I had COVID at the start of the week all the way through, and then trained once, did maybe one gym session, had the worst sleep the night before, and I just pretty much got there, and I didn't have much expectations, but I just saw the game for what it was, and approached it the best way I could and put my best effort in, and I walked away pretty happy with myself.
I just want to say, I know Satch and D'Souza will be listening. I know you're good mates with them, I am as well. And yes, obviously you had a lot on, so no personal feelings in terms of not being able to go to his birthday the night before, which is good.
It was, yeah. Apologies to you, Satch, but it's all kind of worked out well in the end. So
exactly.
sacrifices are one of those things, but we'll have a catch up very soon.
Yeah. Well, there's so much media leading up to the mid-season draft, both people talking about you and to you. I reckon you did half a dozen radio interviews at least.
100%.
Everyone was saying, North would pick 1, but you didn't even speak to them by all reports. Is that correct?
100%. And I guess that was one of the other major elements going into that game. There was a lot of pressure and expectations from external sources to see me play well and perform under that stage as well. And I guess, like I said before, I was extremely proud of myself. I'm not usually proud of myself with a lot of things. I am quite harsh on myself, but it was one of those moments where I went through a lot and prepared so many months leading into that day, and for it to play out the way it did. Obviously, on a team standpoint, it was quite disappointing and not the way we'd want to represent our state, but from an individual perspective, I thought it's probably one of my better games for the year, and I was just proud of what I was able to do and the people I was able to share it with. So, there's a lot of pressure. But in terms of the draft, a few weeks leading out, it was North Melbourne. That was the talk. And, I never spoke to them once leading into the draft and had zero indication they were going to be an option on that day. And, it is what it is. But I'm very, very happy with how it's all played out now.
Were you thinking at any stage, like with all the talk, imagine if it didn't happen? There was a lot. Like you were probably spoken about every day for a few weeks there, WA media at least. I
really enjoyed it, to be honest, and I read absolutely everything there was, and I think the reason why is reverting back to my childhood. I got zero recognition for anything, and I wasn't really spoken about at all for a number of years. So for it all to happen like that, I actually really flourished and really embraced and enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It put a bit of pressure on, and it forced me to apply myself and play the way I wanted to. And for the longest period of time, I hoped one club would call me, not even to draft me, but just let me know that they know that I exist. So for it to happen the way it has this year, it's very humbling. And as I said, it's just a dream come true, and it's crazy to see that I've formed it that way and made it happen to some degree.
So a bit of a party for the mid-season draft with the loved ones. Did you have a bit of time to kill during the day? Because obviously I think it was like 5:30.
Yeah, I had work that day at the school, so I was trying to stay off my phone as much as possible. You shouldn't be at your phone at work anyway, but I ended up leaving a bit early to go see some friends, and what did we do? We went to the pool and to the sauna just to have a bit of a relax and just forget about it. I just wanted to be around the people who cared about most and some mates who would just support me. And I'm not really a nervous type of person. I've never really been nervous for any sort of game or any big stage moment, but that hour before the draft, it was quite different. My mates noticed it as well. They said as soon as you got home, you changed a bit, and I've never been that nervous ever before. I can't even remember the last time I was nervous. So, it was a crazy little experience, and the way it all happened, it was so quick. It was on the screen. My name popped up before they even announced it, and it was all over in 20 or 30 minutes. So, we're just sitting there watching. I was sweating at the time, and then it just happened, and that was that. It was just a moment you'll just never ever forget.
What a story for the students you would have been teaching that day as well. We just had a Richmond player teach us during the day. It's unbelievable.
100%.
Clearly you nominated for last year's draft as well, which is it's an interesting rule because it's like I guess everyone probably would, because you wouldn't expect it to change that much in 6 months in terms of aspirations. But delighted that your dream has come true for probably 99.9% of the feeling. But leaving the Thunder, how does that sit with you as they aim to go one better this year? I'm sure you're still following.
Yeah, absolutely. I still make sure I'm talking to the boys regularly, and I'm obviously checking the score. Like, I've only literally moved 2.5 weeks ago, so I I obviously keep it all pretty close to me, and I'll be trying very hard to see as many of them I can while I'm over here, and we'll be supporting them from afar. And no, they're doing extremely well at the moment, and the team's in a very good place, and the staff there are just unbelievable, like the coaching staff for one, but it's also the SMC team and the physio team. They're all it's first class, and the boys down there are extremely lucky to have those sort of resources, because not many waffle clubs have numerous physios or a number of exercise physiologists and SMC coaches to be able to help you with your gym and your training right there and then. So it's certainly a professional environment that helps anyone get to where they want to go and thrive. So we expect big things, but it's all got to play out the right way on that day too.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you've been able to carry the number 30 through a large chunk of your career. 2016 was the last time there was a 51 at the Tigers, we believe. So you're looking to make it your own for a bit of time, and obviously next to Marlon Pickett in the locker room.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, because I was number 30 at Claremont, and I'm not really the superstitious type of person, and I don't really have any rituals that I follow or anything like that. I don't believe in it, but when I got 30 number again at Peel, it did make me a little bit nervous, because it wasn't a good year prior to going to Peel, so I was like, I'm really going to have to change it around here, but it's just a number at the end of the day, and it's the play that makes it what it is. So, and then obviously coming to Richmond, I'm not sure if I think it's my number for the rest of the year, and obviously sitting next to someone like Marlon Pickett, who was a mid-season pick, a few years ago, and to see him have the career that he's had so far, it is very reassuring that it can be done, and it is very possible, and we get along very well too. So he's a good fella, and we'll see how we go. It's for now, it's my name's on the locker, and if I get another one or if I don't, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll just make it what it is and keep putting good performances on the board.
Is the contract an 18th month one, or is it 6?
I nominated 6.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get the choice, but I went for 6. So,
Interesting.
Well, and talking about the numbers, I was a bit curious, because obviously 51's pretty high, and it probably might be the highest AFL list. Well, obviously you got Campbell Gray next to you as well, 52.
Yeah. Well,
probably the highest two in the AFL.
Just about, but the problem is you got number 8, number 9 available, which was Koch and Rewalt.
They're the only two, aren't they?
And then you got number 6 was Sean Grigg, Dave Asprey was 12. So you got all these legends who have their numbers available, so it's a bit nerve-wracking for some of the boys to claim that number and follow through with it too. So I don't think Richmond, I know for sure, don't give out those numbers blindly. Like, they make sure it is for someone who they believe in. So, and there actually is a bit of a process in place to be given one of those numbers. So
most people change at least once during their career. So I think Dusty was 36.
Josh Gibcus was 28, I think, and then got the promotion to 18, which is obviously Alex Rance's old number. So
100%.
A couple of years in the system, that's when you, I guess, might pick it up.
Well, how was the buzz around the club with Dusty's 300th the weekend just gone?
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, because the first ever live AFL game I ever watched was his 150th at the MCG, and growing up he was actually one of my favourite players, probably everyone's favourite player, to be honest. So I guess just having him seeing him at the club, and I guess having somewhat of a relationship with him now, it is pretty surreal, and I guess my younger self would be pretty over the moon by that as well. But obviously he's one of the best players for Richmond, but also probably in the AFL realistically, like this century. It's hard to find a resume that stacks up against his, and it's just such a wonderful player. And obviously getting to know him now, he's very quiet, very down to earth, but everyone just talks about how such a caring, loving teammate he is, and how good he is to have around the club. So it's obviously I'm still only brand new and still trying to form those relationships, but the whole experience in itself was awesome. When our game was finished from VFL, we got to walk over and sit in the change rooms beforehand, watch it all play out. Obviously got to sit up and watch the game unfold. And when he was being interviewed at the end of the game by Jack Rewalt, the whole stadium was just dead quiet. So to have one person sit there and be able to keep 90,000 people silent, you know, it'd be a pretty outrageous feeling to say the least. And yeah, it was just such a spectacle moment to see someone like that achieve that milestone, and then obviously being there afterwards, after the game and in the change rooms, it's yeah, as briefly as I've been there, it's still a moment you'll just never forget.
Who are the other senior players that have made an impression on you? Probably everyone, but
yeah, like obviously the first few days you are a bit starstruck, but you also, I try to be conscious about not making it look like that either. Yeah. I wanted to present myself well and I guess go about it like that. But Camden McIntosh has been a great one. We obviously have ties to Peel Thunder and Pinjarra ourselves, so I guess he was pretty, probably extremely surprised and relatable to see someone like myself come through there as well. And Tim Torreno's been very good for me as well. Ben Miller, Nathan Broad. I don't know, there's just so many of them. It's also the staff as well, like the VFL coaches, AFL coaches. It's a pretty unbelievable network of people you have there. And like Steve Morris is our VFL coach. He played over 200 games. And Kane Lambert, he's obviously a legend there as well and played in multiple premierships. So it's just pretty surreal to have those sort of names coaching you and I guess wanting to see you do better as well. So as a collective, everyone's just been extremely welcoming and supportive.
It does seem like a family club. Like, I know that's cliche to say, but it does seem that way. So.
100%.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't taken you long to adapt to the VFL system, I guess you could say. You could say it's slightly different, but you were, I guess, in amongst it, appeal, obviously having the AFL club aligned as well. So you'd be somewhat used to that, but decent start in your first 2 games for the Tigers. Probably a question for the coach, but do you feel like a debut could potentially be coming up in coming weeks?
You'd like to think so. Now that the dust has settled and the draft's done now, it's kind of looking for that next mountain to climb, and it obviously is the debut and getting that monkey off the back a bit. So, like I've obviously gone in and had some pretty good games straight up in VFL, but it certainly is a different style, and I think it suits my style, my gaming style better, but it certainly isn't easy, and it is. You definitely got to earn your kicks and earn your marks there. It is a very different sort of style. You know, the game comes at you a bit quicker because the grounds are shorter and there's not as much switching and kicks through the corridor. It is quite surge contested footy, and I'm definitely not getting as many cheap kicks as I was before, but I'm still trying to apply my strengths and obviously put those performances up. And luckily enough, I have put a few good ones together and made a pretty good first impression, but there hasn't been any indication of what's going to happen. I'm just more trying to earn my way there, not just game day, but throughout the week, and be a good teammate and a good friend to all the staff and just be a good presence. So, hopefully I can get a couple, or at least 1 or 2 before the end of the year, and have a bit of momentum going into next year if all goes well and I'm actually there for next year. But I guess, like I said, that's the next mountain to climb now.
And it's such a footy bubble in Melbourne, and I guess Punt Road is central to that. So what's the support been like? I mean, walking down the street and stuff, it must have been pretty overwhelming, because I know what the Tigers faithful are like. They're very passionate. 100%.
And I always said if I wasn't, I'd almost prefer to go to a Melbourne club like that and be submerged in that sort of environment, because football is worshipped over there and it is a very big deal. And I was extremely happy to go there, and Richmond probably was one of my top preferences as well, just quietly. So, but no, obviously now that the media's gone past with it now, and everything about the mid-season's died down, it is pretty cool to go to the games or sit around the AFL games and you still have fans that recognise you or want your time, whether it's a signature, a photo or something like that. So, like I said before, personally, I actually really enjoy it and I quite embrace it. But like I said, I'm only very brand new to it, so it is pretty awesome to see the members and all the supporters there. And obviously on Saturday for Dusty's thing, getting 92,000
something crazy like
for it's like a finals game there. So it is a very loyal, very welcoming fan base, and hopefully one that I'm around a bit more longer.
Apparently, every man and their dog at Peel is studying teaching, I've heard. What happens now with your studying?
It's a bit of a prototype. You're either a teacher or a tradie at Peel. It is pretty funny. But no, uni is very difficult with that sort of thing, transferring units and whatnot. And I actually find university really frustrating. I have worked as a teacher for a majority of time and seen it for what it is, but I guess finishing the units and trying to transfer it over, they're very stubborn and stuck in their ways, and it is very difficult, but I'm trying to find some loopholes and work my way through it, slowly but surely. But it is not an easy thing to do, and I'm too far in it now to not finish it, so may as well try and get it done. And I think it is very important to have at least something behind you in that sort of setting, because it is a very different lifestyle where everything's very much done for you, so it's very important to be self-sufficient, at least have something else.
The Tigers have anything like, if you want to play a game or play at AFL level, you got to be studying or do something on the side? Because I know Fremantle would definitely like that with Ross Lyon. Is there a thing like that at the Tigers? Yeah,
it is strongly pushed. I think everyone's different, and it is a very strongly pushed case, because your career can end at any moment and you can be sitting there complacent, but at the same time, a lot of guys have been fortunate enough to be there till they're 30, 35, but for majority of people, they're not. And so it is highly encouraged, and it is nice to go to a club like that and see players either form their own business or do a degree like themselves. Like Cam's got his own carpentry business and everyone gets around it and loves it, but then you've also got Taranto and Lynch and these sort of guys who are also studying degrees as well. So it is relieving to see that there are people who have ambitions outside of football as well.
Bloody oath. Well, we'll move on to the Instagram Q&As. We'll start off here with Marcus Zero Brian. I'm assuming it's O'Brien. Who is the most annoying person at Peel, and why is it Michael Selwood?
Whack.
It's kind of answered for me. Myself and Michael get along really well. I actually really enjoy his charisma, because he can give it, but he can certainly take it as well. And any backlash he receives on the field, he can certainly dish it out in the right way, in a pretty hilarious way. But he's just one of those players where a lot of people get annoyed about how good he is, but he's an extremely good player, and he's a very good teammate. So, I actually get along with him really well, but everyone has their different thoughts on different people.
Georgie Cleaver _ Who's better, you or your girlfriend XX?
Depends what she wants to refer to.
Yeah, I
know. Like I said, I try. She does keep me humble, but if she ever wants to do a 1v1 contest, she's more than welcome to try. So we'll put it that way.
Georgie again says, "What's your bench?" I don't know what this is aiming at.
It was with a laughing emoji as well.
Yeah, max bench. I told her to say that. No, I'm joking. Max bench press, 1 rep. I've done 150 is my best. So, I do enjoy my time in the gym.
Sachin D'Souza, shout out again, Sach. Where does B Train come from?
It comes from a few. I guess it comes from my friend group. I do have a few friend groups that like to throw that nickname around here and there. Don't really know how it originated, but it's kind of stuck to some degree, and it's a bit of a piss take sort of nickname, but it sticks in certain groups, and other groups it doesn't at all. But one of those things.
Jackson.Skinner, how much better are the coffee shops over in Melbourne compared to Perth?
Yeah, well, bit of a disclaimer, I actually don't enjoy drinking coffee. I don't like it at all. So I am one of those weirdos who don't do it, but coffee is a very, very big thing in Melbourne. It is something that everyone does over there. So I think probably going to have to change my ways a bit and at least try it out a bit. But it is a pretty substantial thing over there compared to Perth.
That's a bit of a contrast. I had Bailey Morgan in just before you in the studio, and he works at a cafe, loves his coffee. So for some people, they like it, others they don't. Taj Bailey, who's been your biggest inspiration growing up? Is it Noah?
Biggest inspiration? Noah is my brother. I wouldn't say he's my biggest inspiration, but I don't know. It's a tough question because I've always wanted to be the hero of my own story. I've never wanted to live my life idolising too many people or looking at people and putting them on such a high pedestal that I can't get to. I guess I have probably some that I probably role models who, not just in football but outside of football. Like I've always loved the story of Nat Fyfe and Jerry McGovern because you can relate to them a bit. I feel like with idols you either got to find relatability or you're just truly inspired by their story. I think it's either way and probably does come into both. But then yet again, I really like the origin story of Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter. I really like some of the famous business entrepreneurs too. I really enjoy just some of the wisdom and some of the lessons that come from those sort of people too. So I guess there's probably a range of people I take certain things from, but like I said, I really much try and be my own idol, my hero of my story.
Bit disappointing that Conor McGregor pulled out of that fight in a couple of weeks as well.
No, 100%.
And good one.
But you know, the more I learn about his story, the more it inspired me because there's so many little things that people don't even consider with that situation. He got himself in and obviously went through to where he is now. It is a pretty remarkable one, to say the least. And there is plenty like that as well.
Yeah. Toad McGill, 24. Now, we haven't really covered this at all. I think we only really learnt it off air before, but you obviously
really know.
Spent a bit of time at Wesley as well, so this is a Wesley question. Who was your funniest teammate at Wesley?
I did spend about a year and a half at Wesley, so there was a couple. We weren't obviously that great at the time, but there was a few interesting characters. It's probably either Toby himself or Cooper Smith. He always seemed to put a laugh throughout the group. Or probably one of those two, I reckon.
_Michael.m1. Hey, Sensei. How have you been dealing with the new life?
That might be one of the students I taught. Trying to be a smart ass. Well, Michael, it has been very good and I am very much enjoying it. So I won't be returning to school anytime soon, hopefully.
Outback _Bremer _Bates. When did you know footy was the priority?
That's a good question. It always was, I think. Ever since I was younger, I always knew that I wanted to achieve that. So I very much created a lifestyle that revolved around that. And as I got older, I made sure not to keep that as my one wood or my only identity. I definitely dispersed myself in other things, different avenues, whether it was work or uni or, business or something else like that. I've always, especially the last few years, I've really tried hard to be busy in different areas. But in terms of work, like I lost a lot of jobs or made arrangements in jobs to make sure that it was going to give me the best opportunity to perform on Saturdays. It could be as simple as starting later or mixing around days. Like there's always tweaks and everything I put in to make it a priority. So there was no excuses. It was just I chose to live a certain life in a certain way, and it gave me the best chance to perform the way I wanted to.
Tom _Russell 08. Who are your most enjoyable players to coach in the academy?
Yeah, Russ, he was probably one actually. He was an absolute ripper. He was young fella from Mandurah. Great character. There was a lot of them. I was fortunate enough to do some coaching down at Peel and I guess give back to some degree to a club that gave me such a great opportunity to go there as well. So had a lot of good relationships with those boys, Tommy especially, but there was probably a good handful of them that really got along with, and even the coaches there as well. Had a great relationship with them and still do as well. So it was a really good period of time to form better relationships, but also have an impact on some younger players to, I guess, kind of see my path. And that's probably also the purpose of today as well. It's for anyone who may take inspiration from it or at least be curious about my story, it's probably one that gives a lot of people hope. So, that's very much what I'm trying to do now, and more than happy to help as many people as I possibly can with it.
Sam_Giles, how important is it to keep your feet on the ground and not change your values or who you are as a person because you're an AFL player?
And it's a very good question, and it is something I am very, very conscious of now, because I don't like to think of myself as above or beyond anyone else. And there's a lot of, because I went through what I went through and it wasn't an easy path to get there, there's a lot of people that I can be grateful for, and a lot of people that I like to think had a major contribution, whether it was my good friends or it was some coaches in juniors or just anything like that. Like, I like to think there's a lot of people who played a good part, and I always try to show my appreciation, because my journey was an extremely hard one, and it will continue to be one like that. So I very much live in a mind frame where I try and practice gratitude, or at least show it. I'm obviously not perfect, but I'm very much trying to keep myself level-headed, and because to some degree in my mind now I haven't necessarily made it. Like, I haven't played a game or had a significant career, so I'm still very much a listed player, and I don't, essentially I'm still playing state league football, VFL football, and it's nothing above what any Waffle League players doing here or anything like that. I'm just fortunate enough to do it on a full-time job now. Yeah. So even in reality, say, I'm no better than anyone else, really.
Jai Richards, who's from our great friends at Pegs, doing a lot of the hefty lifting here in WA, wants to know, have you had a session at Bell's Hotel yet? Tigers players love it, apparently. I don't know if you've been introduced into that. Maybe it's something for the coming weeks.
Yeah, very, very new to it all, so I'm still very much an open book. But
did promise Jai that I'd ask that. So
maybe if you didn't come back over here this week, you might have had a couple of sessions there with the guys that stayed in Melbourne.
100%.
And last one here from the Fish, Ethan Regan. Favourite boot at the moment? I don't know if this is like an inside boat. Have you got a heap of boots that you choose from?
No, I've actually had a lot of headaches with my boots, because I have very flat feet, so my ankles roll in real badly. So I've got to try and get orthotics, for one, that suit boots, but number two, to actually feel good and all the rest of it. So it is actually a bit of a pain in the ass. So I wear, what are they? I'm not very big on the sponsors and the names of them, but I just wear a pair of Nikes. What are they? Nike Tiempos, and that's it. And they keep my feet comfortable, and I don't really care that much about the brands or the looks or anything like that. As long as they are comfortable and they do their job, then I'm pretty happy. I wore a pretty grim pair last year for the majority of the year, and I got a pair that's all taped up in different spots. So I'm definitely not the one to have too many flashy pairs of boots.
Did you get handed any from Puma when you rocked up to Richmond?
So I will be getting a couple pairs, but I am trying to get some better orthotics so I can fit them. So I haven't got them yet, but I will be getting some sneakers and some boots. So, and the ones I do have at the moment, I'm in pretty desperate need of some to say the least.
Over repair. What are you typing away at, Ethan? Nothing that really bothers at the moment. So we'll move on to the quiz. So the leaderboard, 14 questions. Top of the leaderboard at the moment is 12 with Adam Damasti, who's East Perth Trinity.
I believe Georgie had 10 last year from memory.
I'll quickly go and find it, actually.
That's ultimate bragging rights if we can get on top of that.
No, she'd definitely be good at that. Knowing exactly what stuff she got.
I can't remember. Did we have netball questions in there?
I think there might have been one. It was mostly footy.
No, it's only Waffle W in there. But so I'm looking at Caitlin Searles now, just so I can look at the leaderboard. But she's actually got 9 out of
14.
So. Was it 14? All right, we'll see how we go.
Yeah. Well, question number 1, as it I guess always is, but it's a bit irrelevant now because it's probably might have changed since you've been at Richmond. But height and weight on the Waffle website.
196 centimetres, and I think it's 102.
It's Correct.
So I think, yeah, I'm definitely not that heavy at the moment. Probably about 100, and maybe can bump up another centimetre or two. But
Actually, that question's a bit somewhat irrelevant if we have guys who haven't recently been playing waffle footy because they don't provide the weight anymore at AFL level.
That's why I didn't do the weight for this question.
I just say 6'5", around 100 kilos, because your weight does fluctuate and it all changes. Like you'll do a big session or a big game, you probably lose 2 kilos, or you don't drink as much water, so you're probably half a kilo lighter. It all changes, but I just say around 100, and it's a decent weight, and it keeps me competitive, so it's fine.
Question number 2. What is your highest ever cricket score on play cricket?
62.
Correct.
I've gotten it twice as well. Never made 100. My brother was a lot better at me than cricket. We made more runs, but I made a few 50s, but never got to 100. So might be a little bucket list thing once the football career's over.
Well, that makes 3 of us in the studio. Never make 100, and I'm sure that would make 2 of us never make 50 before.
Yes, that's spot on.
Question number 3. Yeah, we're flying here. Question number 3. How many West Australians are now on Richmond's list?
That originated from WA? Because there's a few that...
Wow.
There's one name on here.
The one that we're thinking of isn't on this list, but we probably count it. Yeah.
Myself, Steely Green, Caleb Smith, Nathan Broad, Camden McIntosh, Josh Gibker spent a period of time here, but you could, if you want to count that or not.
Technically, he was drafted out of the
we'll count it, though.
But we'll count it,
I think those are the 6.
Incorrect.
Ooh,
okay.
Well, we had 9 and obviously changed it to 10 with Gibbo, but Piggott, Smith, Bolton, Baker, Miller, Blight, yourself.
Bolter, okay.
Green, Broad, and McIntosh.
Shay, Bolton.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a bad miss. Those 2 definitely were.
Northam? Definitely played at Perth, I'm pretty sure.
No, he was at South Freo.
Oh, okay.
Well, Shay was actually at Wesley too, so that's actually very poor of me not to remember that.
And then, obviously, Liam Baker as well.
Yeah, Bakes as well. Yeah, good job,
Still
buddy.
2 from 3.
Yep. Good start.
Question number 4. In your 2 VFL games so far, you've had the same amount of disposals in each. What's the number?
18.
Correct.
Yeah.
Solid 36 disposals in your 2 games so far.
I think it went 20 and then 18. I'd like to think there was a bit more, but there wasn't, so that's fine.
3 from 4.
It's decent enough.
Yeah, going well here. Question number 5. Including the state game, how many times did you take 10 plus marks in a waffle game this year?
Oh, that's a good one. 10 plus. It's 3 or 4. I have to lock one in. Let's do 4.
3.
Oh,
Good effort, though.
there's a few 8s and 9s, I think. That's probably why.
Yep.
That's right.
3 from
3
5.
from 5. Question number 6. This one's potentially the toughest of them all so far. How many more Waffle League games have you played over reserves games in your career? It's quite tight.
I actually think the ratio would be almost 50-50, to be completely honest. I've played 34, 5 league games, so I reckon it's only like maybe 5 or 6 more for league than it is reserves.
Go up a bit more.
It is a bit more. Okay, I'm selling myself short here. Let's go 9.
Oh, 7.
30, it was 36 league games, 29 reserves.
Okay. Well, I'll sell myself short. That's all right.
3 from 6 still.
This is, I think this could be the toughest,
this
actually.
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
Stretch the memory.
Was reading it, and it could be tough.
Yeah, these are good, yeah.
How many players from the state 16s in 2018 are currently in the AFL?
Well, Denver Granger Barras was there, and I actually played against him on the weekend. So we get along quite well. Heath Chapman was the one. Logan McDonald was one. Nathan O'Driscoll was one. I'm good mates with as well. It wasn't that many because it was a COVID year. So I can't remember all of them at the top of my Yeah, and there's a few that are at Peel that I played with a bit more now, and that are on AFL list now. Let's say 6.
It's a nice guess. It's
Yeah.
8.
8, okay.
So Zane True's there, Brandon Walker, Tyler Brockman, Jack Carroll.
Yeah, yeah.
Then Heath, Denver, and Logan, and yourself.
Yeah.
It's a nice effort. I probably can't give a point, but oh well.
It was a very big squad, actually. It was bigger.
A
than
lot
it
from
was
the
bigger
year
than
later
usual.
that would have been picked up. Well,
Yeah.
year below.
That year after was massive, wasn't it? Didn't we have 12, or was that the year after that?
Yeah, I think there was probably over 30 over those two classes.
Yeah,
30, 35.
No, I'm saying.
definitely a good period.
Good
Question
call.
number 8. We're still 3 from 7, however. So we need to get most of these points correct
Mm.
All right, let's
to
do
try
it.
and beat Georgie. Question number 8.
Number
Ethan.
8. Name the only waffle team you received and gave away a free kick against in the same game this year.
Say that one again, sorry.
Name the only waffle team you received and gave away a free kick against personally in the same game this year.
Oh, gee.
It's quite impressive. It's only happened once.
Received and gave one away. Oh, it'd have to be... You do get stung a little bit as a backman because the umpires
Yeah.
you hold or push and all those silly ones. It's not a backman's game. That's a good question, eh? Maybe no, not the Swans game. No, I'll just do a random guess. I reckon it will be not the South either. Let's just say
Do we go?
I
with
got a
his
hint.
now?
I got a hint. You guys belted this team.
Oh, I was going to say something a bit more harder.
Like you guys, it was a
Was it-
massive.
was it
win.
West Perth?
Correct.
Was it the West
Yeah.
Perth game?
Yep.
What free kick did
What-
I give away?
What were you gonna say as the hint?
I was going to say they've got blue in their
Oh.
colours, which wasn't
Yeah,
going to
that
be
Well-
would've been
really, really helpful
Yeah,
because
that-
most
that-
teams
But
have
you guys
blue.
beat West Perth. They're actually versing this weekend again. Thunder and
Yeah,
Falcons
it's
down
quick-
in July.
quick
You guys
turnaround.
been there by over 120 or something.
Quick turnaround, eh? Just trying
We
to
are-
remember the free kick I gave
Four
away.
from eight.
We're on 4.
4 from 8. Question number 9. Outside of Rushton Park, what ground have you individually won the most league games of footy at?
Leadable.
Correct. 3 times.
That
Which
bit.
would be, in a way, a bit of an obvious guess because I've got 2 teams
Yeah,
playing there. But then you could also say Freo as well because
Yeah.
East Freo are playing there a bit at the moment. So
I had some good wins at the leadables, so
5 from 9.
Now-
We need the 5 points here to
Mm.
beat Georgie. Otherwise, 4 points could be equal.
I'm fairly confident without putting the pressure on you that we'll get it inside the 4.
But I think we should be getting
So basically, 5 points for if you get it on the birthday, you get 3 guesses. If you want to skip, you can. But obviously, the more we go into it, the less points are up for grabs. So it's a
Yeah.
point less per line. There's 5 lines.
okay.
So
Alright, this would be tricky.
I was born on the 4th of March, 1994. And by the way, the background to this when we do it is sort of somewhat related to your journey, where you're from. Not like a family member, but
Okay.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. 1994.
3 guesses. Take a wild guess if you want. So that makes them 30.
Ben Hancock.
Incorrect.
No, Belly's 31. He's a bit old. So is Willow. They'll be 30 years old. Oh, jeez. Oh, no. It can't be anyone at Richmond. That'd be a bit unfair. I don't know everyone's birthday there. No, it won't be him. Either Ben Hancock, Blair Bell, or...
One more guess.
I know a few that are like 31 or 32, but not... It's not Will Brodie because he's a bit younger than that. Yeah, no, I'm out. I don't know that
Alright.
one.
This is the next bit's to equal Georgie for 4 points.
Okay. Jeez.
I played footy for the Pinjarra Tigers before switching to Peel Thunder.
Oh, there's probably a number of them. Either David Jacob, Clay Philpott, or Michael Hansen.
Incorrect.
Oh, jeez.
We're going to have to go for the 3 points, and George is celebrating as we speak.
Oh, damn, okay. Cameron McIntosh, maybe. Might have been him.
Not question number
No.
third bit. I won a Rising Star nomination in my first game, so it is a Richmond player.
Rising star in the first game. Oh, and they're still on the list.
Should we just say who it is, because this name's been mentioned?
You might have just said it.
Was it McIntosh?
Yeah.
Correct, it is.
I was going to say, I don't think it was Juddy or Gibkiss.
What do we do here?
Yeah,
Because he
that's
said it after.
It was after.
thing.
It was the fourth guess.
It
on that
was the
question.
fourth guess, so 3 points. So yeah, the rest of that, although I missed the 2019 grand final, I'm a 2-time AFL Premiership player. Last bit of that, I've played over 180 AFL games in the 33, which is believed to be the most for that guaranteed number. So
Yeah.
Camden McIntosh it was.
That would be Camden, yeah.
3 points. Takes you to 8.
Over 50%.
Over 50%. 8 out of 14.
Just
No,
unfortunately,
good questions, boys. That was...
Just unfortunately lost the
was
bragging
trying to-
rights to Georgie.
Yeah, maybe I don't...
I was
check
going to
this.
say, if they did draw
Was
level,
she-
get them on a face-off.
Yeah, that would be good if we could ever tee that up. But was she at all saying anything? I guess this morning or yesterday about the quiz. Was she talking it up?
No, not really.
No,
She's a
okay.
lot more over the stats than I am. You can take that as you
If
will.
anything, she should have won by more, or like got a high score by more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, if you're a stats person, 9 is a bad score. So you
Yeah.
should be getting at least
I-
10, 11, 12.
No,
Maybe
I
more.
agree. To be fair, there was probably one or two where I was slightly off as well.
Yeah,
It's
so-
a common. It always happens.
Yeah.
Like either right off, and then you get lucky on occasions and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all good.
Exactly. Well, of course, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can, of course, watch on YouTube, vice versa. Remember to subscribe, 5-star like. It is muchly appreciated, Ethan.
It is.
Powered by Pegs, of course. Download the app. Some exciting times ahead. We always say this, but that's because we're building up.
Especially into
exciting
early
stuff.
July. Keep your
Mm.
eyes peeled.
Yeah. Of course, the additional sponsors as well, Hat Locker and Cheetah Clothing. Well, Malcolm, best of luck for the rest of the season, and thanks for coming in. And I guess it is your week off, but especially when you're trying to spend some time with family and friends. So we appreciate you coming in, opening up here this morning, and best of luck for the rest of the year.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for having me.